In early April, I accepted a new job and moved myself out to Iowa. Never having hunted this kind of terrain before, or this quality of deer before. You're going to follow me as I learn my way through Iowa my first year as a resident. This is Move Outdoors' brand new series, DIY Iowa. What's up, guys? Welcome to the July edition of DIY Iowa. And sorry if I sound a little weird. I'm chewing some sunflower seeds right now, but I just pulled up to this new piece of public. I've never been here before. And I'm watching, there's a pretty nice sized doe out at the back of this soybean field. And then I just had a 1.5-year-old buck cross in front of me. He looks like he's going to be a decent 6, maybe an 8. But it's only 8:11. There's another little over an hour yet before dark, and I'm glad I'm seeing deer already. It's overcast, it's rainy. I kind of figured they'd be out a little early, and it seems like that's going to be the case. So, all right, here's the deal, friends. There's a big buck in the field right now. So I'm grabbing the spotting scope and the tripod. I drove down the road a little bit to where you can't see me, and what I'm going to do now is just get out and slowly walk down the road with the spotting scope on a tripod and my binoculars and see if I can get a better look at him. Because as soon as I stopped, when I saw him, he whipped his head back and started looking at me very clearly, like he doesn't like that I'm there. So this is the plan. Oh yeah. Heck yeah. He's on the hit list for sure. That's a nice 8-point. Oh, he's gonna be a 10. Oh, heck yeah. I gotta get my binos. His name is Spike. Just named him. His name is Spike because he's got that one brow tine. It's like a spike. Made it to about 300 yards away. There was a doe. The original doe that busted me just ran back into the cover and kept snorting. And eventually he and the rest of the deer just decided they didn't like it and ended up not running, but kind of jogging out of the field. And it was while I was putting where he was into my Spartan Forge app. So oh well, but real quick, while I was on Spartan Forge, I think I know where he's bedding based on where he came out of that field, because it was about 10 minutes from when I first drove by that field to when I came back through, and he showed up. And where he was in the field, I have a pretty good idea where he came from. So I think I'm going to be doing some scouting there tomorrow and maybe put up some cell cams, because I have decent cell service down in here, and see if maybe I can catch him and kind of get him on a pattern here. He's probably going to move for October, which is when Iowa's season opens, probably just because it's soybeans, and, you know, soybeans, once they dry up, deer don't want them anymore. But I know he's in the area, then it's just a matter of refining him with some late night shining or scouting or whatever it takes. So this has been successful so far. We're going to keep driving around and see if we can find some more mature bucks. Okay, I just pulled up to another bean field, and I just had time to get my binos up and look out across the field, and there was a incredibly wide buck out there. I mean, wide. I saw right where he went back into the woods, which is probably where he came out from. So yeah, now I'm going to spend some time looking on Spartan Forge here and see if I can maybe figure out roughly where he was bedded, and I'm definitely going to have to walk in there and do some scouting around. You know, one thing that has completely and utterly surprised me so far about Iowa is how skittish the deer are to vehicles. The deer on public land in Pennsylvania aren't even this skittish to vehicles. I'm really surprised by how if you just pull up and stop, every deer looks at you, and if you're there for more than 5-10 seconds, they bolt, which is not what I expected, honestly. But you know, it is what it is. Adapt and overcome. So for some of these spots where I'm seeing big bucks, basically what that means is I'm gonna glass them one day, and then I'm gonna come back another day, and I'm gonna park the truck and actually sit there and specifically look for that deer and others of a similar caliber. So far tonight I've seen 3 mature bucks. That big wide one I just saw actually had another one with it that I didn't mention just because the wide one. But yeah, that's 3 good mature bucks on this one piece of public, which has me really excited. I'm gonna keep driving around and see what else I can see before it gets dark. With the overcast, I think I got like 15 minutes yet, so I'm gonna hurry. All right, guys, I'm just off of a field that I spooked 2 nice bucks out of last night driving around. And I'm standing on a deer trail here that is pounded to the point that there's no vegetation on it. And I'm really trying to decide if I want to put a camera here or not, because I'm about 15 yards from where that buck, the nice bucks, ran back into the woods, which means it's a safe bet they came out somewhere in that area. And just walking back here, finding this trail. They clearly took this trail, which is between 2 fields. So mature buck, you know, something a mature buck would do. He's taken a path that keeps him concealed from both open soybean fields, and he's just walking along it until he decides he's ready to go out and start feeding. And honestly, when I spooked him, all he probably did is run right over into the next field. I got a little patch of oaks right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And all of them have acorns up in the top. As you can see, they're red oaks. But it's good to know, and this entire area reeks of deer. I mean, I could smell the deer. I thought I found some beds, but actually what I think they are is I think that they're scrapes that haven't been worked since last year, because all that's snapped off like it's a scrape. This is cleared, which kind of made me think bed until looking at these branches. Snapped, snapped, snapped. There's a couple over there that are snapped. What I think this is I think these are oaks close to a bedding area. So this is a transition zone area where they're going to feed before they head out to the main food source, which is the beans right now. And what I need to do now is locate where the bedding is in this area. Just found one of the buck's beds because I blew him out of his bed, and I didn't get a good look at the antlers, but I could hear him running for about 60 yards, and it's all grass, and all I heard was heavy hoof prints hitting the ground. I mean, big deer, and he got up 30 yards that way, so let's go check out his bed. Okay, so I'm sitting in the bed right now. He's got this at his back, so nothing can see him, but he can kind of see out through that. I was right in that dark spot in the center of the screen when it got up, and you can see mostly facing this way, and it ran that way, and you can see here just one trail going that way. And I think what's going on is this is a bed this deer uses a lot, and that's its entry and exit. This is such a buck bed though, nice and concealed. Actually kind of in the sun right now, which is interesting. Yeah, he's in the sun right now, which is really interesting that he's out in the sun. He might just move to that other set of beds. That other set of beds is 30 yards away. So he probably just gets up and moves between the two throughout the day. Gets hot, goes over to the shade. Nice and cool, stays here. Very clearly a buck bed. Large, very large, and pretty concealed. And it's one lone bed for one lone deer. Well, I decided not to put any cameras in there, and the reason is I want to keep my cameras for scrapes, particularly active scrapes, and food sources. And obviously I already passed a food source, but you can always go back to that and put a camera on it. But really, what I want to find is scrapes. I want to find community scrapes, hubs of deer activity. That's a great bedding area. There's oaks all through it. It's really thick. You're gonna have a hard time getting in there without blowing everything out. And yeah, there's definitely at least one mature buck bedding in there. But I'm just not gonna put a camera there right now, because at the end of the day, he's heading out to that soybean field right now. He won't be in October when the season opens, but right now he's headed out to that soybean field. So it makes more sense to put a camera on the soybean field where I know he's headed to, and then move that camera later, just so I can get progress pics of him, kind of figure out his daily routine, see if maybe I can make an early season play on him. There's a fawn out across the river. Just getting a drink. Back up to mom. There's a little oxbow a couple hundred yards ahead of me on the map that I'm very interested in checking out. If you listen to any hunting beast stuff or talk to Dan Infold at all, he really likes his oxbows because it's a really simple funnel, but deer tend to feel really safe on them. And this is kind of an isolated oxbow. It's hard to get to. I think this could be a good move. Only one way to find out. Keep pushing towards it. Well, after sacrificing my legs to stinging nettles, I am now on the oxbow and just past its narrowest point, which is about 45 yards wide. And there's a deer trail that I'm on, which is a good sign. Just need to go see if it leads to some beds, and I'd love it if there were some oaks in here, especially if they were producing acorns. That would make this a hot spot in the fall. I'm on the back half of this oxbow now, and I've got 2 fawns within 25 yards. They have no idea that I'm here. They're just feeding. One of them just laid down. See it shaking its head back there. Well, I was walking back a different way on this island. I came through basically straight. The way I'm coming back here brought me through this little group of trees. And there's a rub on every single tree in here. And there's a bed right here. Right there. Just a flat spot in the ground. The thing is, I don't know how much this deer's bedding here right now. I'm seeing a couple hairs, but not a ton. But I absolutely think this is where this deer beds in the fall. Wherever he's bedding right now is not sufficient for him in the fall, and he comes in here. And I mean, I'm not kidding you. There's a rub on that tree. There's a rub on this tree. There's a rub on that tree. There's a rub on that tree out there. Rub on this tree. Rub on that tree. Rub on that tree. Rub on that tree. Rub on that tree. I mean, every tree in here has a rub on it. So this is most definitely where a buck is bedding in the fall. I just don't think he's here right now. But I think what I'm going to do is, I don't think he's here often right now, I should say. I think he's using it intermittently. But what I'm going to do is mark this, and I might hang a camera, but I don't want the camera right on the bed. I don't like doing that. That tends to spook them. So I'm thinking there's a an entry and exit trail right here. I think I'm going to hang a camera over that, up high, looking down at the trail. Oh, I found my first sign of other hunters here in Iowa. That's interesting. So, tree stand up there. There it is. Coming all the way down. Pretty sure, don't know 100%, but I'm pretty sure it's not legal to have a tree stand up in Iowa right now. It's July 8th. I don't think they're allowed to be on public land right now, but whatever. It's not mine, I'm not touching it. His ratchet strap's kind of weird though. I'm assuming the wind took that, but I don't know why that wasn't wrapped around the tree to begin with. That ratchet strap confuses me, but whatever. Yeah, first sign of other hunters here in Iowa. It's the first tree stand I've run into. Haven't run into a trail camera yet, but the first tree stand. Looks like a halfway decent spot. An inside corner of a field here. I'm sure he gets a decent amount of activity. Okay, this stand I know is illegal because they were cutting branches, and I know you're not allowed to cut branches. Looks like a rifle or shotgun / muzzleloader spot to me. Of course, maybe that's my Pennsylvania thinking. Maybe you actually can set a field edge in Iowa in archery season and have success. In Pennsylvania, if you're setting a field edge on public land, anytime that's not rifle season or the first week of season, you're pretty well wasting your time. Regardless, though, with the people sign I've seen, I don't think he's coming from here. There's another block of woods up, and I kind of am thinking now that he comes out of that. That's my guess, but I don't know that I want to put a trail camera up now that I'm seeing this people sign, and I don't have locks to lock it on, so we'll see. Well, it's about 8 o'clock at night here. Just came off this river and headed up back behind me. It's a small woodlot that leans out to a cornfield, and there's a couple deer tracks right here where I pulled out the kayak. I'm pretty much, the line for public is 15 feet in front of me, so I'm pretty close to the line here. My plan's to work back that way to an oxbow in the river and see if I can pick up on good bedding. It's 8 o'clock, so kind of got to get moving. I'd like to be back to the truck by dark, and that's going to be about 9:20 or so. So I got about an hour and 20 minutes to scout this. Thankfully, where I'm looking at is only probably 100 acres. But like I said, it backs up the corn, and it's only accessible by water because the private land comes right up to the river's edge on either side of the oxbow. So could be a good spot not a lot of people go to. Let's find out. Well, here's the first real deer sign, and it is hammered. Going through here, not that way. But it's thicker back this way, so I'm guessing they're bedding back in here. I'm gonna follow it back because it actually starts to lead off to that oxbow. And this is a heavy trail. Branches over there too. So this is probably does. But still. Look how heavy this gets. And right here, there's the river right there in the background. This is a scrape. Gonna mark this. I might put a camera on this until it's a scrape. All these branches have been bitten off. That was snapped off at some point. That's a big buck that can reach up there. I mean, I'm reaching up for that, so. This is exactly what these deer like to do in the summertime. Right here's a bed. Right over the water. There's a couple more trails leading up that way. I bet there's more beds that way. It's probably a doe and some fawns. I was wrong. This is a buck bed right here. Hasn't been used recently, but it gets used in the fall. Some old rubbing on those two trees. Maybe a tiny bit on that one. And an exit that goes back that way. right behind this real thick bush. This is a buck's bed right here. It doesn't look very fresh, like he's really been using it, but he'll be back to it. Yeah, that's all tore up right there. When he's in this, he's watching the water, and he's using the water to bring the scent off everything that's coming this way. It's a good spot. And he's well covered with easy escape. Absolutely a buck bed. So far I'm liking what I'm seeing. I've gone 150 yards maybe. And I found a buck bed, a scrape, which I just walked past again. That buck bed is 15 yards from the scrape. Another indicator that it is in fact a buck bed. I still don't think it's being used right now, but that means that there, at the very least, will be bucks in here. Which makes sense. I mean, they got corn 200 yards away. They're probably already at the corn and in the corn. Driving around, I saw some does on the edge of the corn, so we're gonna keep pushing, keep moving, see what we can find. I gotta come back this way anyway when I leave, and I'll probably end up hanging a camera, but I can't linger too long in any one area just because of the time frame that I have before it gets dark. Well, I'm walking on a pretty well-beat path here. I'm just gonna follow it out to the field edge, which is the private line. And I just kicked a couple deer out from in front of me. I have no idea what they are, but I heard them start bounding away. They didn't sound too heavy, so I think it was does, but still. The way this property lays out is really interesting to me. It's a mix of really thick and wide open. So obviously, they're gonna be bedding in the thick, but I feel like these deer probably get so little pressure that they feel very comfortable out in the open. Pretty sure the deer that I spooked were actually out in the open field out there. Oh, right here's a bed. Yep. Yep, right there. So they were either on the edge out there or laying right here. This is probably it could be a buck bed. Could be a buck bed. Hard to say for sure. I changed my mind. I'm pretty sure this is a buck bed. There's no other beds in close proximity. Within 15 yards that I checked in every direction, there's no other beds. Which tells me it's a buck. And he's bedding right here. The way everything's laid down, it looks like he's laying facing out over the field. He's got a lot of thick stuff at his back. Okay, no, this makes more sense now. So let's break this down real quick. I'm sitting in the buck bed right now. Okay, just sitting up. See what's behind me? Thick. See what's over there? Thick. But over there's a little opening that he can see to when he's sitting facing that way. And he's got some gaps he can look out into the open field out there. Nothing can approach him from any direction without him knowing, which is how he was able to scent me back there. This is definitely a buck bed. It's thick back behind me leading out to the field. It's thick in every direction except it's really open right in here. This would be a good rut spot. Come set up. The buck's gonna be cruising this thick stuff. And hopefully I could catch him. Let's keep moving though. Burning daylight. So this is interesting. There's a creek right behind me that isn't shown on the map. It must be created when the river overflows. but I'm not going across that. And deer aren't going to want to go across that except for very specific spots. But right here, it creates a great funnel out to the field. And what the deer are going to do is they're going to run this field edge, just go around this. But in order to scout that, I'm going to have to come back another day and get in there. So I'm going to head to the oxbow that I wanted to check out and hope I can actually get to it. I had said that these deer don't want to cross this, and I'm right, based on how heavy this trail is, following the edge of this mucky, muddy water. I mean, it's very clear where the trail is. Deer definitely don't want to traverse that. Oh boy, what's this? This is why you scout, folks. This is why you scout. Just gonna do what the deer do, which is just walk right across. Look at that. Look how far back that goes. Deer are definitely bedded up against that. I just heard deer run away. They were over there. So thanks for tagging along, everybody. Just in case this is the end, I'll do a little outro. Thanks for tagging along, following me here, learning some public lands in Iowa. And it'd be awesome and a huge help for myself and the channel if you would hit that subscribe button and follow us on social media. That's Instagram at Move Outdoors Official, Facebook at Move Outdoors Official, and don't forget to follow us or check out our website, themoveoutdoors.com. And we appreciate you guys watching. We hope you enjoyed the video of me trying to figure out what the deal is with Iowa in my first year of living here as a resident.